Hey guys, Munsinkin here bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so we just watched the live reveal of the part 2 units. We're going to go through all of their details in proper detail here because they flick through this stuff way too quickly on the stream. I will include the reactions to the animations here from the stream if you did miss it after we talk through the units details. So we're going to start off with BROLY. This guy is the Dokkan Fest, as we all suspected, right? We were hoping they weren't going to pull a last year worldwide and make 2 superclass units, but we saw BROLY kind of teased in the little video they posted this morning, and with the part 1 extreme unit being the Carnival, it makes sense for him to be the Dokkan Fest in part 2, and that is confirmed that he is extreme int. He's on Uncontrollable Power, Revenge, Planetary Destruction, Movie Bosses, Transformation Boost, Pure Saiyans, Resurrected Warriors, Full Power, Target Goku, Exploding Rage, Inhuman Deeds, Legendary Existence, Power Beyond Super Saiyan, and Powerful Comeback. So he has a ton of categories, which is good. And then we can take a look here, his leader skill. So he's the Super Warrior who destroys all, which is a great name, Legendary Super Saiyan BROLY. His leader skill is Uncontrollable Power, which is what we expected, right? The new category. All the Brolys are on there, as well as a bunch of other units. Revenge, which is great. Like, Revenge didn't have a leader other than AGL Bardock. So actually having an extreme unit and a new Revenge leader is really good. Or Planetary Destruction. So those 3 categories, 3 key 170. And then additional 30% to Movie Bosses, Transformation Boost, or Pure Saiyans. So that's interesting because obviously any Pure Saiyans on Revenge, like some of the Bardocks, and then like Planetary Destruction like Turles, of course all Brolys because they're on Uncontrollable Power, all get the 200%. Movie Bosses, there's a bunch of Movie Bosses on those 3 categories, and then Transformation Boost as well. Very, very good combination for a leader skill. So his leader skill definitely very, very good. Then his super attacks, the 18 key super, massively raises attack and defense for 1 turn, high chance of further raising defense for 1 turn, and causes colossal damage with a high chance to stun. So I guess we need to see the data download to know what the full calcs are for this, because this is a new mechanic, right? A high chance of further raising defense. So massively raise is 100%. And then high chance of further raising it for 1 turn. Is that going to be 30%? Is it going to be 50%? Who knows? It just says raises, whereas the one for the 18 key does say massively raise. So I'm assuming it's like a normal raise defense, which is 30%. But that's pretty crazy. It means he gets 100% extra on his 12 key super. And then there's an RNG chance that you get an extra 30% raise as well, which is pretty good. And he also has a high chance to stun. The 18 key super massively raises attack and defense for 1 turn with a high chance of further massively raising attack. So you have a high chance, 50% chance that you're going to get an extra 100% attack. So 200% attack from his 18 key super, which is ridiculous. Mega colossal damage, and has a great chance to stun, which obviously is 70%. So that is really, really good. Then we have his passive, which, good lord, this I think is the longest passive in the game now, because bro has a domain and a revival. So this passive is ridiculous in length. So here we go. Passive is the Undying Devil, which is awesome. So he has an entrance animation, which doesn't have a restriction. It just says upon the character's entry turn. He gives extreme class allies 40% defense for 4 turns from his entry turn. So that's off rotation as well. So the first 4 turns, everybody gets a nice little bump in defense. He gets 260%. I think that's actually it, isn't it? The intro buff is just the extreme class allies defense. So then his main passive is 260% attack and defense, reduced damage received by 60%. So he just has unconditional 60% damage reduction. He gets an additional 100% attack when attacking, which combined with those modifiers from his 18 key super is going to be absolutely ridiculous. He gets additional 2 key and recovers 2% HP per type key sphere obtained. So say you pick up like 8 int orbs, you're going to get 2 extra key per orb as well, and 2% HP recovery per orb, which doesn't sound like a crazy amount, but even if you're picking up like 8 orbs, that's 16% HP that you just get for free. And if they are in orbs, he's going to be healing off of them anyway because they're the same type, so that's really good. Then he has a whole bunch of stuff here conditional on his other abilities. So while his domain is active, his one specifically, the Lava of Natale Village, which we'll talk about in a minute, once that's active, he randomly changes key spheres of a certain type, int and STR excluded, to STR at the start of the turn, and guards all attacks. So when his domain is active, he has guard. His attacks are effective against all types for the rest of the battle as long as he performs a single attack while the domain is active. So that's really, really good. And then starting from the 5th turn, from his entry turn, he revives with 60% HP recovered when he or any ally attacking in the same turn are KO'd. So it literally just says starting from the 5th turn. So there's no HP restriction. So you can go into the turn on full health. Someone can get killed. It doesn't have to be him. And then he revives. So this makes units like Tech BROLY and INT BROLY with their EZAs being essentially like glass cannon units. That is actually useful for this guy because his defense is really, really good. So the chances are he isn't going to die. But then one of them potentially eats the super, dies, and then this guy revives, which is crazy. So he gets 60% additional defense when receiving an attack after he or anyone else has revived. So it's one of those good revival abilities where he gets a buff even if he doesn't revive. But then he also changes physical key spheres to int key spheres and gives uncontrollable allies, uncontrollable power allies, 60% attack and defense at the start of the character's attacking turn, starting from the turn in which the character's revival is activated. So by the way that's worded, it says at the start of his turn, starting from the turn in which he revives. So it should be permanent every turn. He's then an orb changer and a 60% support as long as it's his revival. And I mean, on the current movie bosses team build, he'll be the only character that has a revival. So it's not like somebody else is going to get in the way and get the revival instead of him. So yeah, he's going to get that revival, be permanently giving 60% attack and defense. Like, imagine how ridiculously hard the new Tech BROLY or the Tech EZA BROLY, how hard those guys are going to be hitting with this guy on rotation after he's revived, especially considering he's going to be sharing most of their links as well. And then we have his active skill, massively raises attack temporarily and causes ultimate damage to the enemy, and that activates the Molten Lava domain for 3 turns. The active skill condition is when there is a Goku family enemy or when all allies attacking in the same turn are uncontrollable power allies. So both of these conditions can be fulfilled on turn 1. So you can use his active skill to create the domain on turn 1, which of course gives him all the buffs that we talked about with his passive. He only has to attack once with the domain up to get the permanent buff for being effective against all types. And the best part about this design is one of the worst things about all these extreme characters, especially super bosses, having these domains, is they all clash and you can only use one at the same at any given time. This guy's domain will run out after 3 turns, and then you can transform AGL BROLY, who's probably like a must-run unit on any team builds with this guy and the new Tech BROLY anyway. So their domains don't clash, which obviously they must have been designed that way on purpose, which is really, really good. Also, Broly's art is fantastic. Let's just mention that here. This guy on the right looks very cool. And then the domain effect itself. So we've seen the active skill. It does damage to the enemy. It activates the domain. And then the domain itself, uncontrollable power allies and enemies, attack and defense 15%, increased damage received by superclass enemies and allies by 15%, plus an additional 10% for characters who belong to movie heroes. So if you're doing an event where you're fighting a movie hero's boss, not only are your uncontrollable power allies getting 15% extra attack and defense, but the enemies are taking 25% additional damage, which is absolutely ridiculous. So this guy's going to hit so hard. Judging by everything that he's doing, like uncontrollable, unrestricted 60% damage reduction, crazy amounts of extra attack, extra defense from the 12 key. The only thing I don't see is he doesn't really have any sort of built-in additional. So he's potentially a full additional character. He has guard once you've got the domain active. Yeah, guards. Yeah, this guy just seems absolutely insane. And then post-revival, 60% support to all the allies as well. So I know we say this all the time with like new units, but just reading, like just seeing his kit on the stream, I feel like he is probably the new best unit in the game. Like, absolutely ridiculous. Not that the Gohan isn't good, and we're going to talk about Gohan now. So Gohan is the Carnival LR, Super Saiyan Gohan team, all-out super attack. He is Super STR. He's on Kamehameha, Hybrid Saiyans, Full Power, Movie Heroes, Goku Family, Siblings Bond, Super Saiyans, Saviors, Earthbred Fighters, Power of Wishes, and Bond of Parent and Child. So it's strange that he's not on All Out Struggle. I mentioned this on the stream, but I feel like anyone who fights Broly in any of the movies should be on All Out Struggle. But thanks to the categories he's on, he will be on the physical trio's 200% leader skill as well. So decent categories. And then his super attacks are the Masenko 12 key, greatly raised attack and raised defense for 1 turn. Colossal damage, high chance to stun. And then the 18 key, the super explosive wave, greatly raises attack and defense, greatly raises attack and raise defense for 1 turn. Mega colossal damage to the enemy, raises superclass allies defense by 50% for 1 turn. So pretty significant defense buff to allies on the 18 key super, which is really good. He is the Carnival LR. His leader skill is Kamehameha for the full 200%. Pretty crazy for a leader skill. Like, that team will be very, very good, and a team that will constantly get buffed because so many of the newly releasing superclass characters are on that category. So this team is going to be very, very strong. So Gohan certainly got a good Carnival leader skill. And then his passive, Key +5, attack and defense 200%, additional Key 2 and attack 40% up to 200 and defense 30 up to 150 with each attack performed. So that's what, 5 for each. And then the Key actually apparently doesn't have a maximum. So once he's performed enough attacks as you get later on into the battle, he's just going to be at 24 keys straight away all the time, which is crazy. He gets an additional 77% attack within the same turn with each super attack performed. So the more supers he does, each time his attack goes up by another 77%, which, bear in mind, he's also greatly raising attack on his super attack effect anyway. So he's going to hit really, really hard. He launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super when Key is 18 or more. When Key is 24, he gets an additional 58% attack and does a guaranteed additional super. And if HP is 77% or more, attacks are effective against all types. When there's another Kamehameha or Earthbred Fighters ally attacking in the same turn, he gets an additional 2 key and guards all attacks. And then if HP is 77% or less when receiving an attack, he has a high chance to dodge. So because it's worded as when receiving an attack, that means this can activate mid-turn. So if you have him like in slot 2 or slot 3 or maybe even in slot 1, he eats a super, you lose a little bit of HP, which, I mean, his defense is going to be very high anyway. But if at any point you drop to 77% or less HP, this will then activate and he has a 50% chance to dodge any remaining attacks. So that is really, really good. And then we have the standby. So enters standby mode, standby for 5 turns during which 7 Dragon Balls appear. So this is the new mechanic. Charge count increases by 1 per key sphere obtained by allies and an additional 4 per Dragon Ball obtained by allies. And then the condition is when HP is 77% or less, or starting from the 3rd turn from his entry turn. So literally that just means the next turn after he appears, because even if you keep him on rotation and he's on turn 1, his next appearance will be on turn 3. If you float him off, it'll be on turn 4. So again, or if he's on like turn 2 or turn 3, but you've lost some HP, you could use it straight away. Because obviously turn 1, you're going to be on 100% HP, unless it's one of those events where you can hit one of those nodes where you lose HP before you even get started in the fight. So very, very easy to activate, which is good because we want to see it, because it's the family Kamehameha. Now it has 3 different finish effects, because bear in mind we talked about the Dragon Balls appearing and you getting charges by picking up key spheres and by picking up the Dragon Balls. So he has a very basic Kamehameha, which is just Gohan by himself, raises attack by 15% temporarily per charge count, can be activated when charge is 34 or less. So this is the worst one you can get, right? Then we have the one that he does with Goten, Brotherhood Kamehameha, still 15% per charge, activated when charge count is 35 or more, so it can be as many as you want, hundreds even if you get crazy orb changing and stuff like that, but you only got 6 or fewer of the Dragon Balls as they appear on the key field. So of course the big one to get the proper full family Kamehameha with Goku, which raises by 20% instead of 15 per charge, and makes you effective against all types, 35 or more charges like the previous one, but you have to obtain all 7 Dragon Balls. So that's pretty cool. Very like lore in line, right? Very good. Should do tons of damage. And then we actually have this is his actual standby passive, because they listed the attack effects first. So once you go into the standby, he can't attack except to do the finish ability. he gets 77% attack per superclass ally in the same turn. So obviously on the turn you use the Kamehameha, you want him to be on a full superclass rotation to get that big attack buff. So it means you can't really run in with extreme allies if you want that active skill to be hitting as hard as possible. If all allies attacking in the same turn are superclass, he has 77% damage reduction. So you're going to want him to only be with superclass allies, right? Now the crazy thing is he gets 50% defense when receiving an attack per key sphere obtained. So he doesn't change orbs, but like if you get 10 orbs, he's going to have a 500% defense buff. Although I suppose technically when we look at his passive here, he doesn't actually have any start of turn defense. So, but he has 77% damage reduction and he guards. So he's not going to be taking damage really from anything anyway. And then he gets 258% attack when finish effect is activated, because obviously he doesn't have any start of turn attack and defense. So that is the passives for the two. Both very, very good. BROLY seems like he could be the best unit in the game. I'm going to go ahead and put the animations here at the end with my reaction from the stream if you did miss it. But let me know what you think of these guys down below in the comment section, and the animations will play here after the outro. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out all the links down below. Enjoy the animations, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one. So crash landed on Earth, got frozen. I mean, that's pretty cool. Doesn't show him transforming into Legendary Super Saiyan though, but... Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Look, BROLY Final Flash.
This is his active skill animations.
Damn. That's cool. Yes! Oh, the domain is the lava thing! That was the clip from that teaser they posted. That's cool. Oh, is his revival going to be him coming up out of the lava? It's like the STR art. Yeah, sick. Dude, that's awesome.
Animations.
Okay, let's see. Okay. It's pretty decent. Nothing like earth showering, but it looks very good. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's not like, you know, oh my god, they're the new best animations, but they're solid.
BROLY. Let's first look at his animation after the skill.
What could it be?
Here it is.
God, this looks awesome already.
I'm the one who's going to defeat you.
Right, so that's the standby activation one, right? Yeah, enter standby mode.
Let's first take a look at all three of the animations.
Sure.
Here we go.
Is it going to be him on his own, then him with Goten, and then the ultimate one is the family coming out, right? Yeah, it is. Oh, come on. Let's see the proper one. That looks good though.
What are we gonna do? I wish Dad was here.
You carry ounce of power! You've got in you! No more chances after this one, Father!
Dad!
Yes. Oh, with the KO screen as well. That's so good.
As you might have expected.